Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's second video. We've already done the 5-day forecast, which you can find, well, you can find the video to it on the homepage. You just scroll down a little bit underneath this video and the link adds, you'll be able to find 5-day forecast on the homepage. We've also got written version. You can get to that by the buttons at the top of the page. Just click written forecast and it'll take you off to where you need to go to see written version of the 5-day forecast. Essentially going to be a two-way split. We're going to start off the first couple of days quite warm, also risk of heavy rain and thunder down in the south, and then the second part of the period will turn significantly cooler, particularly over the weekend, but it will be mainly dry. So if you want to know more about that, check out 5-day forecast. This is the BCC Wednesday. We're going to have a look at the month ahead with the Beijing content. It's actually going to extend 40 days out, so it takes us well into June with this update. Remember, long-range forecasting is always highly experimental. These models are not to be relied upon. Just heads up, really, for where they're trending this morning in terms of the month ahead. But before I get on with that, just very quick to mention the ads. There's linked articles on all the pages. Have a browse through widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. Thanks very much for doing that. I've just spoken about them in relation to 5-day forecast, of course. There's also video ads on most of the pages. They'll open up the content when you watch them. They'll close back up again. It does help to pay for gasovis.com. Remember, you can find the link to the Beijing Climate Centre. See these charts for yourself on the links page. So start off with 500 millibar heights. These are broken down to 10-day periods for the next 40 days, and then we'll have a look at the corresponding temperature and precipitation anomalies. So for the first 10-day period, which takes us from the 11th through to the 20th of May, we find that got above average heights up to the north of the country and below average heights down to the south. This is very indicative of the weather we've got now, the setup we've got now, really with high pressure to the north, low pressure to the south. This means that the south and some part of the country is more unsettled with this trough bringing bands of showers or maybe longer spells of rain. The north gets the most settled conditions with this ridge of high pressure. And it's pretty warm as well because the air's drifting up from off the continent. The next 10-day period is taking us from the 21st of May through to the 30th, shows a trough of low pressure out to west. So the Atlantic strikes back basically in this one. The jet stream is coming through the country rather like that. It's unsettled final 10 days to May with low pressure driving in off the Atlantic, bringing bouts of rain. Probably still fairly warm with the air. I think the air's coming up from a southerly source of the Atlantic, so it's not going to be cold, but it will be pretty changeable with bands of rain moving through. The next 10-day period, this takes us into the start of June. This is the 31st of May through to the 9th of June, shows a ridge building to the west-northwest of the country, so high pressure is coming back to the northwest, and we're losing that trough of low pressure. This is quite pleasant, actually, quite nice conditions coming through here with the jet stream doing something a bit like that. I think have a fair amount of fine weather through there. Probably not a heat wave with the orientation of this ridge generally centred to the northwest of the country, but nevertheless it should be pleasant enough. And then the final 10-day period is going from the 10th through to the 19th of June. All looks a bit odd, really, with this one, but I think generally heights are staying relatively above average, so it should be mostly dry, I would have thought, through this middle part of June. Let's have a look at the temperature precipitation anomalies that go with this. So coming back to the first 10 days, this is the 11th to the 20th of May. This one looks warmer than average in those orange colours there, so quite a warm 10 days coming up. The next 10 days, going from the 21st through to the 30th of May. That one looks a little bit cool. It's still above average, but it is a little bit cooler there for the final 10 days. This is when the Atlantic's driving back in, so it's a more westerly base flow, and that's the reason the temperatures drop off just a little bit. The next 10-day period, going from the 31st of May through to the 9th of June, that one generally comes out above average as well, so quite a warm period coming up if these charts are to be believed. And then the final 10 days, going from the 10th through to the 19th of June, that one also looks pretty good as well, with temperatures coming out above average. So quite a warm period coming up, you have to say. Precipitation looks like this. The 11th to the 20th of May coming out a bit, it comes out a bit drier than average. I'm not sure about that, actually. Certainly the north is likely to be a bit drier than average, but the south, I think, could be quite wet. So shift everything a couple of 100 miles northwards there, basically, and the south probably having a wetter than average 10-day period. The next 10-day period, going from the 21st of May through to the 30th, that one looks wetter than average. This is when the Atlantic is coming back in, of course. The next 10-day period, going from the 31st of May through to the 9th of June, that one's a little bit drier, actually. So, again, this is when the ridge is building out to the north and west, so it turns drier through that first 10 days of June. And then the final 10 days going from actually, this is the 30-day anomaly. So this is going from the 11th of May through to the 9th of June. This one, generally for the month, looks just a little bit drier than average overall, which is quite interesting because it's a fairly changeable period, but a little bit drier than average there for the 30 days of the coming month. I think the overall message to take from all of this is going to be a fairly changeable month ahead. We'll be alternating between unsettled and settled conditions. The temperature signal is very strongly in favour of warmer than average. So I think the temperatures are going to be doing okay for the start of the summer. As far as the precipitation is concerned, it's changing with the pattern. So when ridging is more in the ascendancy, then the precipitation eases off, it turns a bit drier. But when troughiness, low pressure, is in the ascendancy, then the precipitation creeps up. So overall, a bit up and down through the period, but the main signal probably throughout all of this is the temperatures to be relatively warm for the end of May and into June. We'll do it all again next week with the next update from the Beijing Climate Centre on Wednesday. Friday, we'll have a look at the JMA, but that's all for now. We might update Stormwatch later on this afternoon if things spark off across the south in terms of thunderstorms. I'm not sure if they will or not, but just watch this space and see whether we need to update Stormwatch later. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.